We are the new Separatists.
Well, who the heck are you then, sir?
Well, I'm a child of the King, first of all. I'm L.A. Marzulli. I'm an author and filmmaker. I've written 13 books and made about 14 DVDs, films, lots of documentary stuff. Some people refer to me as an expert in the supernatural, but I am a frank supernaturalist. What I mean by that is I believe that the supernatural world is more real than the natural world around us. And when we go back to the guidebook of the supernatural, i.e. the Bible, what we see there are accounts of the supernatural interfacing with the natural in the realm of prophecy and the realm of angelic beings, which are just messengers, entities coming in and messing around with the affairs of men. But the overarching, really, I guess the scope of my work has to do with the Nephilim, and that's sort of what I'm known for. The Nephilim were the progeny of the fallen angels of heaven and the women of earth. And what happened was these fallen angels descended in the days of Jared, which is thousands of years ago on Mount Hermon, and they did the unthinkable. They took wives from earthly women, and the offspring were these, what's called the Nephilim, the soulless ones, and they were giants. They were 12, 14, 16 feet. Before the flood, they might have been 20 feet. We don't really know. And this is the reason for the biblical flood. People don't understand this, but this is the reason for the biblical flood. And then it says something very chilling. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days. Which days? The days of Noah, and also afterwards. And then it extrapolates that when the sons of God took wives and had children by them. And so remember, Moses is writing this in Mount Sinai, which is thousands of years after the events of Noah. Why would he just say the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and leave it at that? And also afterward means exactly what it says. Now people tap dance around that and say, well, it really doesn't mean what it says, and it's really not, and also afterwards. Then who's in the promised land? The Nephilim are there. It even says that, the sons of Anak. And people tap dance around that and make a big deal about somehow.
How do you reckon they got there? A common question I get asked, Ellie, is that, oh, well, okay, if the worldwide flood wiped them all out, how do they appear?
Second, third, fourth, fifth, multiple incursions. And this is what cracks me up. People have this truncated view of the supernatural, where they say, well, it only happened once, smack, it never happened again. Nonsense. It's happening now in modernity. That's the basis of our work. When we went in, let's say, the whole alien abduction thing, and I know I'm skipping, it's a huge jump from the Nephilim and the days of Noah to the alien abduction phenomenon, but it's real. We had, at this conference here, where are we? In Branson, Missouri, with Steve Quayle and Jen Six and crew. And it was just really a pleasure to be here, and Steve really hit it out of the park by putting this thing together. Just
you
incredible.
did a great job yesterday.
Well, thank you. Appreciate
really did.
That. But what's amazing is I asked the audience, there were 3,000 people in the audience, how many of you have seen a UFO, lights in the sky, had sleep paralysis? Upwards of 50% of the people in that room raised their hands. Pastors, if you were watching this, you need to understand that this phenomenon is real, burgeoning, and not going away, and you need to start addressing it. Amen.
I'm with you 100%. So listen, you're dealing with this stuff. It's deep stuff, it's biblical stuff, it's scary stuff. What keeps you awake at night? What worries you? What troubles you about this? What gets you up at midnight with a little flutter in your heart?
Well, I guess what gets me up is the fact that I think we're getting very close to some sort of disclosure. Now, we've already had soft disclosure in a myriad of ways. Fox News reporting, UFO sightings are at an all-time high. Well, why would they do that, right? That's called soft disclosure. UNICEF makes a commercial for UNICEF with this hybrid alien, right? And at the very end towards the very end of the commercial, this kid, he's in school and everybody's spitting on him and laughing at him and taunting him because he looks different, right? But then there's a little play and there's 3 people on the stage and he goes like this with his eyes closed and he levitates to 3 people. All of a sudden he's the hero. So we're being conditioned for something. National Geographic just came out with on the front cover, The New Human. And of course, Nat Geo they're Darwinists all the way. There is no God, there is no supernatural, so it's all evolution. Nonsense. Absolute, horse pucky. That's what it is. There is no such thing as evolution. It's the biggest scam that's ever been perpetrated on the entire globe. We are fearfully and wonderfully created. They have no idea where the first self-replicating molecule came from. They have no idea of the complexity of a deoxyribonucleic double helix of life. Where did that come from? Because it's a very complex code. And so when we look at all these things and put them all together in sort of a cosmic blender, we are living in the last days, the end of days, and we're ramping up to the time of Jacob's trouble. And I think it's a lot closer than most people think.
So my last question for you, sir. You've been very kind to give me this interview. Thank you. My final question. We found out what keeps you awake at night. What energizes you? What gives you hope? What gets you up in the morning?
My hope is the rider on the white horse, that his return is imminent, it's soon, and that we might be called up to meet him in the clouds a lot sooner than what most people think. That is my blessed hope. But in the meantime, we are called to destroy the works of the devil. And that's essentially what I've turned into, what the Lord has, look, anybody who's going to be in service spends hours in the forge of the living God. Where you're heated up in that fire, you're placed on the anvil, and he pounds the living daylights out of you. He has to. And then we're heated up in the forge again and come out and pound it again. But that produces something in us. It produces a man or a woman who's fit for service. And look, I'm 67 years old in December, and in some ways I feel like I'm an infant, seriously. But he's called me to this, and I'm just trying to do the best job I possibly can. Glory to the King, because it's all about him and his return, the rider on the white horse. That's my blessed hope.
Where can we find information about what you do?
www.lamarzulli.net or thewatchmanchronicles.com.
Give us one big thing we can pray for you personally.
Protection.
Amen. Sir, thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate it.
God bless you.
LA, God bless you.
We are the New Separatists. Join us today at www.thenewseparatists.com. And we are end time ready.